All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So it's another episode of our Fun Fact Friday. This one will air on the 4th, correct? 3rd or 4th? 3rd.
Yes.
The 3rd of March, right? So we're through February, getting ready to go into that last month of the quarter, right? So how are things going? Today we're with Shelby Hoover and in Colorado Springs. So she is our superstar, rock star agent down there. How you doing, Shelby?
Doing great. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
Good morning. Yeah.
So today we were hoping to learn a little bit more about you, kind of your process and what things that you look for from your brand and how that ties into Windermere and how we support you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So why don't you start out, tell us a little bit kind of about you and your background, how you got into real estate, and we'll see where the conversation takes us.
Okay. So I got into real estate right after I graduated from college. I didn't really know what direction to take my degree in, and I was encouraged to go into real estate. So I got my license 4 months later, and now I've been in the business for 6 years. So it's been a wonderful process of growing and learning and building skills, communication-wise, technology-wise, marketing, business skills. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been very challenging at times, but that's with any process of growing. So I've tapped into the development side of real estate, the luxury world of real estate, but I predominantly work with relocating clients, either moving in or out of Colorado Springs. And a lot of my clients are first-time home buyers. A good portion can be military just because of the military bases that we have here. Now I'm seeing a lot of people come from the West Coast due to the networking that I've done with Windermere.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you had, you're our agent down there, right? So anybody in the 10 or 11 state network, right, you're the person that we call.
Yes.
From that Southern Colorado is what we'll call it, right? Total environment. So we've talked a lot over time about kind of that luxury piece, but that relocation piece, but really that first time home buyer piece, right? Number one is there's a lot of things that are different with the first time home buyer than would be with maybe a luxury property, right?
Absolutely.
Also, there are just things and indices with relocation with military. So you have relocation, you have military relocation, right? Yeah. And sometimes they're not the same. So right. In your background, from a family standpoint and whatnot, is you understand the military background really, really well. You also understand the relocation really, really well. And so with all of that being said, is there something from a first-time home buyer standpoint that you have found to be, hey, I focus on these kind of items to serve my clients well?
Oh, that's a good question. The things that I really focus on are listening to their needs and wants, and also helping orient them through the geographic structure of Colorado Springs. It's a very north-south city. So what's easiest to think of with Colorado Springs is price point. So the further south you go, the more affordable it is. The further north you go is the more expensive, just because our natural development progression has grown from the downtown southern area all the way up to we're basically into Monument at this point. So it's helping people understand how the flow of Colorado Springs works, and then just listening to their needs and wants is super, super important. I've helped a lot of people who have bought sight unseen, just because I have this process of really digging into what they're needing and wanting in a property, but then pairing that with my knowledge of the city, because I was born and raised here in Colorado Springs, just seems to be a really great match and ends up having a really smooth process. So through communicating with them and listening to their needs, and I just am a very empathetic person, it seems to be a really natural fit for me to work with first-time home buyers and relocating clients.
Great. I love it. So, and now kind of looking at, we work primarily up in Denver here. And so it's pretty common to have a lot of new agents, a lot of younger agents, maybe a lot of agents from outside of Denver that are having great careers and being very successful here. How did you navigate being a younger, newer agent going into a smaller market at the time, at least down in the spring, 6 years ago when you first got started? And tell me a little about your journey now to now you're a seasoned vet. Now you're doing this every single day, So tell me a little about how you made the transition from newbie to 6 years in, and you're established and you're comfortable in your career and have plans for how you're going to go forward.
When I first got into real estate, I didn't have my first sale until 9 months in. And that was a referral from the managing broker that I had at the time. And it's so funny to think of what the price point was then versus now. So my first transaction, I think, was $165,000 for a property, where now our average price point is $540,000. So it's been quite a difference in the last 6 years, but ultimately it's been networking, just meeting as many people as possible within the industry to learn from them, mentorship, and then figuring out what type of real estate I was really interested in. So for a long time, I was really interested in being within the luxury community. So I think 3 years into my career, I ended up being asked to go over to Flying Horse Realty. And so I joined them for about 9 months. And that was an amazing, stepping stone into the development and luxury world of real estate. Made some great connections. I met a lot of builders. I got to understand how development works, what acreage properties require as far as well and septic, and how homes are built foundation wise, and just everything that kind of goes into that piece of it. When I was at that company, I met Rob Wagner, who is a realtor with us now, and he's the one who brought me into Windermere. So generally speaking, networking has been the pathway through my whole real estate career.
That's great. And I've definitely seen it in action at every event that we've both been at, be it up, in one of our other offices here in Colorado or back in Seattle, kind of in the home orbit. I just want to say you do a great job of making sure that you're connecting and making sure that you're able to insert yourself into the community, which I think is a great skill to have.
Yeah.
Great. Well, so I'd love to hear it. So now it seems like you said you kind of started off wanting to focus into luxury. Now you've kind of settled into helping people transition into homeownership for the first time, be it the first time in Colorado, the first time altogether. What would you give advice to maybe some of our newer agents that are considering Windermere, just considering getting into the field? Did you find would be a good way for them to kind of find their niche, find their passion to be able to connect the industry that you've been able to find?
Real estate is honestly something that is intertangled in a lot of ways within our own personal life. I'm really passionate about ecology and environmentalism. And so where I'm really headed for the future of my career is green technology and how that's going to incorporate into our building practices. So I'm trying to learn some just what my passions are and figuring out how to make a symbiotic relationship with that within my real estate business. So I want to get certified in the Green Lead Cert technology. I'm trying to learn more about landscaping and gardenscaping so I can help my clients help maintain and understand how the exterior of their home works and the land that they're actually living on works, and how to make that be beneficial to their bottom line when they go to resell, but then also their livelihood while they're living in the home. For new agents, I would say real estate is a skill. Find a passion that you also have and figure out a way to make those work together, because then it just makes what you're passionate and interested in, it flows into the income stream that you're wanting to generate for yourself within real estate. It's also going to tap you into a certain community, and networking is literally everything. At least that's my life philosophy. So just finding those niches and meshing them together in a creative way that only you as an individual can put together is what's going to make you unique and differentiate yourself from the other agents within the market.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fantastic too. And I love that, because there's so many aspects of that, especially today, right? That it's about where you live and about that feeling and that energy, right? About your home, and also things that we're doing to our environment. But at the same time, having that knowledge, I think, is going to set you apart, right? No different than the development side, no different than short sale and foreclosure, no different than some of these other, designations that are out there where you can become that go-to or that subject matter expert.
Mhm.
Plus, I have always said, just do what you do and
Mhm.
people will be attracted to you. Whether it's this, I know you're an avid snowboarder, right? You are going to attract people to you because of that,
Yeah.
right? So those are things that I think we just do what we do, and the real estate piece just happens organically, right?
Yeah.
Not trying to force it. The other thing that was interesting you said was about the empathy and helping people understand before they're making decisions. So it's not just a transaction to you, right? It's a relationship. And that
Yeah.
first-time home buyer becomes a seller, then they become a buyer again, then a seller, right? And over time, you grow your network deep and wide, right?
Yes.
The same thing, I would say one thing that I've been impressed with is, and Andrew, I don't know if you know this or not, but Shelby does a lot of video kind of tours and walkthroughs and sends them to people, especially for those that aren't in Colorado Springs. So
Yep.
they're planning a trip for relocation or they're moving. So they kind of already seen it. It's just more about that physical feeling when they walk in the door. Plus,
Yeah.
she's been to the house, which gives you a little bit of quick knowledge instead of trying to figure it out when you walk in there, like we do sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Where's the light switch, but you
Right.
kind of already know where it is, which I think makes for a smoother experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that you do an awesome job of utilizing this technology that we're starting to really see be integrated into our business, right? So and I think we share that passion about leveraging multimedia and social media and just kind of video technology to make our clients' lives easier, So
Yeah.
I really commend you on that. What are some of the challenges you have when you first stepped into utilizing video and kind of making those connections? Because it can be difficult to articulate the flow of a space to someone just through an iPhone lens, right? So what were some of the challenges that you saw from that for the first time you had to do it? And how have you been able to kind of overcome those to now you have like a really smooth process and clients, to your point, are buying properties sight unseen or at least putting offers in sight unseen based upon what you're able to communicate to them. So, yeah.
My biggest challenge was self-confidence. It took time because I got into real estate when I was 23 and I was honestly kind of in a lost place. Like I graduated college, but I didn't have any job prospects. I didn't really have any interest in my degree. I was just finishing up college to finish it up and then figure out what my life was going to turn into. So I started in a place with real estate where I had a lot of interpersonal skills that I still had to develop. And it just happened over time because in real estate, you're forced to talk to people. So the communication piece developed naturally. And then as soon as I got more and more comfortable being in front of people and showcasing homes and kind of explaining how they work, as I learned more about how real estate works, how home building works, all of those pieces fit together and just have built this level of the foundation of confidence in myself that I know how to walk through a property and I know what I'm looking for. I know how to point them out. I was thinking about this yesterday where realtors are kind of like flight attendants when they're explaining how a house works and we're presenting it in a very like efficient and like pleasing way for people. Like it's a presentation, I tend to be on a much more like casual, laid back style. I want my clients to go through the home and feel it without my impression being put on their feelings and their like perception of the property. So I'm pretty quiet. I like to listen and watch and see like what their comments are, what their demeanor is. And then, if they have questions, and I'll answer them. Sometimes I don't know the answer, but that's okay. Like that's the whole point with real estate is you're always going to be learning things and knowing when you don't know something and saying, hey, I don't know the answer. That's a great question. I have a team, which is you guys, that I can fall back on and we can figure out what the answer is to whatever that question is. So the biggest challenge was confidence.
Yeah,
I
and you
agree.
connected a lot of things there. You connected confidence, but you also spoke to being authentic and genuine, right? So, and being honest with your clients. And I totally agree. Like I maintain a pretty informal relationship with most of my clients, right? So I talk to them like I talk to you guys.
Yep.
And does that work for every client? No, but it works for the ones who are going to buy from me anyway. So that's who I want to connect with, right? And I want to commend you for leaning into that too. So, yeah, that's great, man. So what are some things that, you have a difference between you and I is you've had experience with a few different brokerages. I've been lucky enough to kind of find my home right away.
Yeah.
What kind of made you decide to kind of explore some different brokerages? Because I know that you're not just one of these grass is always greener people. You make decisions very thoughtfully. So
Yeah.
what made you decide to kind of transition to a different brokerage, and what made you kind of eventually settle here at us with Windermere? We're fortunate enough to have you on our team, so I want to hear why.
When I was looking for a new brokerage, the biggest thing that I was focused on at the time was marketing capability and marketing support with modern, like updated, very nice pieces that our marketing team isn't using, like 10-year dated type marketing pieces. That was my biggest struggle in the past. Was it was either non-existent, there was little support financially or opportunity wise from corporate, or if there was, it was just highly dated and it didn't make sense. And the thing is like, I'm not a graphic designer. I appreciate the skill and the effort that goes into it. And that's why I wanted a company that also saw the value and appreciated that type of skill set, that they were willing to hire the right people and have the right systems and be able to disseminate it. I think that's the right word, to all of their agents, so that we could utilize it quickly and efficiently. And that's one massive thing that Windermere does for us is they are hugely into the technology piece and into the marketing support for us, which kind of brings us into this whole new partnership with the Utah Windermere services that we have now. That is like one of the most exciting opportunities I think that us agents have with that opportunity now is we can serve any and every price point. And what I mean by that is from your lowest end to your ultra luxury of 10 million plus, like we have that capability and we're going to do it well. And it's going to be professional, classy, and excellent. Like Windermere just is top notch when it comes to that.
That's exactly right.
The other piece was professionalism. And like when I met Michael through Rob, I just loved your energy. I loved how excited you were about real estate, and it just seemed like a really natural fit to come to this office. Andrew, when you stepped into the managing role, I was super, super excited. I knew that you'd be perfect for it. And you guys seem to have a very great balance with each other and your skill sets. And I love the direction that you're taking our office. That like our little office is on a very like micro scale is a perfect reflection of what it is on the macro scale at Windermere Corporate. I got to experience that when we went to the Seattle conference, and every agent that I talked to that was marketing and the type of people that we bring into our community and our company is like, that is the consistent feedback that they're like, the people are amazing. There's no drama. We're here to work. We're here to be professionals, and we're here to do an excellent job in real estate and serve our clients with integrity and compassion.
Level. Thank you so much. That's amazing to hear.
Thank you so much. Those kind words. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And you're right. Shelby, I mean, when I bought the franchise in late 15, going into 16, I talked to all of them. I talked to all your big brands. They flew us down and did all their stuff, went all these places, and it was all same.
Yeah.
It was all same, right? And part of what we wanted was where you have multi-generations, right? So one of the things that I took away from our Seattle conference was some of the current managers and owners are second and third generation, right? And they've grown from within. So for example, and I use Andrew as this all the time, Andrew comes in as an agent, starts working through his craft, becomes a team lead, right? Now he's our managing broker. He has aspirations to have his own franchise. And what does that look like? And so I don't know of another franchise today that a person can do that today. There just aren't available today, right? So you can be a great agent or a team lead, but you kind of wake up every January unemployed, kind of, right? So if you figure out a way to do that and to have a 3-year and a 5-year plan, then it gives you those things to strive for. Not only do you have education in real estate, which you just outlined, there's a whole nother level that you could tap into at Windermere of the Windermere Leadership Program, right? Which is a 2 or 3 year program where, you go to managers meetings, you're invited to a lot of other meetings that Andrew and I attend on a regular basis. And you start to get to know people on a different level and hone those skills to be able to be a team lead. And then maybe someday a manager, and maybe someday an owner, if that's what somebody wants to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's nice, is to have options. The other thing that you hit on is, you're right. You get the big company experience in the boutique environment, right? So you can take all that amazing marketing, but tweak it to fit Shelby,
Mhm.
right? Versus some companies, you get the big company marketing, that's it.
Yep.
So this makes it kind of nice, because you kind of get the best of both worlds. Because I'm with you, I'm not the creative guy. If somebody gives me an infographic, I can go click, 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 point, I'm done. I love it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Value to that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also I feel remiss if I didn't point it out, but because I don't want to break your heart, Michael, but I did shop around a little bit before I came over here. And the other thing is that all this great Windermere branding really is branded to you, Shelby, you individually, and me as an agent, and Michael as an agent. So it's Windermere branding, sure, but the focus is much more about our individual team members, or our collective team, if that's the way we're trying to market. But Windermere takes, not to say a back seat necessarily, but Windermere takes second position as the focus of the marketing, right? So it's much more about focusing on you, and then of course delivering value to our clients, which is one of the main reasons. I'm a Northwest kid. I grew up in Portland, so good old brand recognition, baby. Windermere was who I saw every sign in the yard. So when I first took a meeting with Windermere, it was like, oh, I understand these people. And then I got to really see the mechanisms behind it, and the passion and the dedication that the large Windermere team has a whole on the individual. So that's why I came over. But yeah, sorry, I'll answer my own question, I guess. Sorry, guys.
No, you're exactly right, though, because I lived in Portland for 5 years.
Mhm.
And so I was familiar with the brand as well, but not necessarily in Colorado at the time. I think we're crossing 10 years now with that Fort Collins office.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready. In July will be 9 for us. So
Crazy.
that's pretty impressive, and as a company, we just crossed 50 years as a private company.
Mhm.
And those are some things that are the intangibles that I don't think, to be able to explain that, you got to feel it. And that's why we always say it's about our people, right? Our tools and our tech and our community, which we've talked about all three of those today. And Andrew will tell you, we get emails all the time. We get referrals all the time from people. And within one conversation, I'm like, we're not moving forward. I feel it. I know it. I can tell by the tone. I can tell by the questions. As Andrew said, job hopper, grass is always greener. There are a lot of those out there. We have no interest in those individuals. But at the same time, there are people that when they come with a strategy and a plan like you and things that you want, it's just a good fit.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, this reminds me, I was having this conversation. I was showing some property yesterday, and I think this happens to a lot, and it wasn't necessarily these clients overwhelmingly, but people get tied up in like the details of, what's the bedroom count? What's the square footage counts? Well, that's all important information, right? But that's why we have searches set up, right? That's why we have our MLS searches set up that kind of dictates the nuts and bolts of what properties we're going to see and what properties are going to put in front of us. But largely, when our clients go into a home, they really feel that this is going to be their home. It's not just another property they're touring, right? So that's kind of what I told them. I was like, guys, let me take care of the nuts and the bolts. We've had conversations. Your searches are going to be accurate to what you want to see, right? I might even expand the fringes a little bit so we see a little bit more. And of course, if you see something on Zillow, let me know. But largely, when you walk into a house, man, you're going to feel that this is the correct one for you to move forward on. I feel the same way about this. When you start taking meetings with brokerages, or when, from a brokerage perspective, for those folks out here listening to this, when you start having agents come, whether they're new or experienced, come meet with you, you're going to get a feeling. And I wish I had a more scientific way to articulate this, but honestly, like, your gut is going to connect you with that individual or that team, and you're going to know there's something worth at least going down the road on, right? So, and I wish I had a more professional or scientific way to explain what that feeling is, but I don't, right? So I would say, just as a new agent out there, understand what kind of your, what your exact specifications are, in the sense that, hey, these are the things I'm not willing to bend on, whether it's size of team or whether it's, you want to talk splits, we can, sure, right? But all that stuff is really going to be derivative of the type of team that you're on, right? The culture you're buying into and you're going to be a part of is really going to be the most important thing. And if you're just not interested in being part of a culture, then join a cheap ass team for 2 years and hang your own shingle, man. That's my literal advice. Like, if your only concern is I want to pay the least amount of splits, then cool. Go join a brokerage that charges you $500 transaction for 2 years and hang your own. If you want to be part of a culture, then it's going to be really important for you to engage in these conversations so that you can find a home like we all have,
Andrew and I had that conversation with a candidate, 3 weeks ago, Andrew, when we were in Denver, and we were sitting there and we're having that same dialogue. And I think you said those words. If you're looking for a place to place your license, cheap. If you do a deal, great. There's tons of them out there. We'll give you the recommendations, but that's not who we are. We're full service, full time. Our agents are productive. For example, next Thursday, we're gonna win for a third year in a row, the top 5 small offices in Denver. Yep. So I'm pretty excited about that. You got to remember, there's 4,700 brokerages in Denver. There's a lot. And we're in that. I think we crossed over now, Andrew, right? We're 14, 15, but for last year, we were in that 12 category. So we're now crossing over to the next category, which is fine. But those are things that are important. It's not just the agent. It's about crossing over to what we're giving to our market and giving to the agents for his or her development. This is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, and we demand growth and development out of you guys. And so we have to demand that out of ourselves as managers and owners too. So we're going to demand growth and development out of ourselves. And part of that means that now, look out teams of 14, 15 agents because we're coming for you, man. That's how it's going to be, Sorry, Shelby, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. I think another thing with our culture is it doesn't matter what your production level is, really. We want somebody who is dedicated to growing their passion and working and building their real estate business. Like that is their primary focus. That is where their passion is at. And like I said, if you're at a $2 or $3 million production level, that's okay. Well, we're not afraid to help you. We want you to feel like you can come over without the judgment of what your sales volume is, but you have the mindset of growth and ambition. And that's where you're going to thrive in our office because we have the skills, we have the tools, and we have the support to help you get to wherever you want to go at whatever pace you want to grow at. It's the dedication that we're really trying to see from an office standpoint of
100%.
Where you're at,
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's all about, creating a plan and being accountable to it. Like Shelby, what do we do every November?
Business planning.
Okay. And then what do we talk about all year long?
Business planning.
What's your plan, right? Like we build a plan together. None of us have we ever prescribed you a plan?
No.
It's always been you. And then all we have throughout the year is conversations like, hey, how's the plan? We said we were going to do X, Y, and Z Monday through Friday. Have we been doing it? Yes. Have we had the results we want? No. Okay, cool. Maybe we need to tweak, right? Have we been doing it? No. Well, then we need to have maybe a more stern conversation about, okay, hey, does this plan need refining? If we need to downsize it to make sure it's something you can accomplish, okay. Or do you just need to get your ass in gear and start doing your plan so we can measure the results, right? So it's never, and again, maybe I'm wrong here, but my goal is never to make that a shameful conversation. I remove shame from accountability all the time. It's about, hey, here's the things we said we were going to do. We're not doing them. Can we do them, or do we need to adjust? Or we are doing them. Are we experiencing results? Okay, cool. Is a fluke, or do we need to adjust? Right. And that's the conversation to try to have. And that's another day one conversation for me in interviews. And if you don't like that, then we're probably not the best place for you, man. Because those are the conversations Michael has with me. Hey, Andrew, you said you were going to do these things. Did you do them? And most time it's yes, but occasionally I drop the ball too. And then we have to adjust, right? Either I have to crank it up, or we have to figure out a new way to balance responsibilities. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Or you also, in a lot of situations, you come back to the table, right? So we come back to the table and shift. Life shows up for all of us, right? And we shift. Hey, we thought we were going this direction. Now we're going to go this direction, but these are ultimately our goals. This is what I'm going to do, right? And so coming back to the table sometimes is good. And I think revisiting those on a regular basis is really important, right? And doing that as a group and as a team, and talking through a shift or whatever. Here's an example. We have struck a little nerve, and I don't know if it's a Windermere nerve or if it's our brokerage nerve or what it is, but all of a sudden there seems to be this trend in a lot of offices to be dual license in multiple locations, right? And Andrew and I have kind of been tapped on that because we're making it work, right? And what does that look like? Nicole's licensed in Indiana. I'm licensed in Missouri. Aaron's licensed in Utah. You're talking about potentially another state. Andrew's working on another state. Holly's working on another state. So all of us, from a lifestyle perspective and being able to things that you're really into, right? You're able to help and do those type of things, right? Well, that's all about your real estate business, right? It's all about your life, right?
Mhm.
It's all about your income. It's all about your clientele, And I think that being open to something that looks a little different, right, is something that's seems to be resonating and working. In fact, one of the individuals that you and I've spoken about, I just made a little comment about that. I could feel it on the phone. I mean, she was like, "That's amazing. I could do that at Windermere." You know what I'm saying? So sometimes people don't think about it as well.
Well, that strikes into the opportunity piece with our company. Like, so we have the fantastic marketing pieces. Whatever your ambition is, we are here to support that and help you build a business plan around it. Whatever your life circumstances are, like our Erin, our newest agent, one of our newest agents, she's working 2 weeks in Utah and then 2 weeks here in Colorado. Like, I am so impressed with how she is managing that. And that's the thing is, like, there are a lot of people with a lot of different life circumstances and a lot of different real estate business models that there's a lot of collaboration that just constantly is generating ideas and solutions to problems. The other thing that we have opportunity-wise is the networking and referrals from other states, because we are so heavily connected with each other and people are very intentional about networking. That agent that you were talking about that was on the phone who was like, "Oh my gosh, you can be dual licensed with Windermere." She was blown away about the referral that I had from a Seattle agent. And that's not the only referral that I've had. Most of my business is starting to come from other places with relocating referral clients, which is amazing. I don't really know, like, a lot of brokerages talk about their referral networking opportunity, but I've worked at several. They never came through. Like, it was like this mythical thing that was like, okay, maybe if you knew the right people or whatnot, but on a regular basis, like, that wasn't really a business opportunity. The other thing we haven't really talked about is our foundation. We've been in business for 50 years and we've raised $50 million. The awesome thing that I am like super, super excited to start implementing is I am now a foundation rep. So being able to promote what our foundation does and support my community in a very meaningful and tangible way is what's to come into Colorado Springs through the Windermere Foundation. So again, when you have a passion and you mesh that with your real estate business, you can build that passion with the foundation. And now you're giving back to the community. Now you're working on your passion. And now you have a revenue source for yourself. It's like, that's why this company keeps me here, is because there are constantly opportunities to grow. Michael, you mentioned the leadership program that we have. 2 to 3 years within a leadership program. That's amazing. Like, it puts you on a path to a leadership place. We don't force you into a team business model. We don't force you into a single business model. You can do whatever you want. We are here to support it.
Wow. Normally we would ask if our guest wanted to wrap us up with it and leave us with any information, but I think you did that pretty amazingly right there.
I think she just did
So
it.
what I will ask is, what are the best ways for clients or potential referral partners to get a hold of you, be it your number or your socials, if you want to leave that, and we'll make sure they're tagged in the comment section as well. But outside of that, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and being a part of our team in general. And it was lovely to have you. But yeah, where can we reach you?
My cell phone number. So my name is Shelby Hoover. My cell phone number is 719-313-7057. My email is shelby.hoover@windermere.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram.
Wow, how cool is that? Well, again, thank you so much, Shelby. And you're right. You wrapped it up exactly where we were probably going to go. So awesome. Thank you so much, Shelby.
Thanks, guys.
Happy March, everybody.
Happy March.